Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the latest PS5. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, didn't they only do 41 last week? Well, you got to, our luck. We record episode 41 on a Wednesday, it goes live for Patreons, and then bam, the next morning, Sony announced PSVR 2 controllers. Me and Alex quickly got together, recorded episode 42. We thought we'd only chat for 10 minutes. 30 minutes later, we finished talking about one topic, which was a PSVR 2 controller. So that became episode 42. So lucky, you got 2 episodes last week. And if you're Patreon, you also got the other PlayStation show, which is the latest PSX. So you got 4 if you count the David Fish special. So a lot of interviews last week. We're here, Alex, episode 43. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just coming off from recording the latest PSX. Really pissed off right now because we went over our top 5 hardest games. So I'll need a moment to calm down.
Definitely. And obviously, episode 43 of the latest PS5 podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers, George Rixey, Adam Batty, Martin Batterbury, Scott McCluskey, Paulio, and David Fish. Their support allows us to continue creating this podcast for you, the listeners. If you want to help and support the show and receive some cool bonus content, then head over to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/latestps5. There is a link to that Patreon page in this podcast description. Exclusive access to our Patreon exclusive PlayStation podcast, the latest PSX, is included with your support. And this week's episode, as Alex just mentioned there, is all about the hardest games we have ever played. Oh, it was just stressful talking about them. Let's move on from them, Alex. What are you currently playing?
What am I currently playing? Okay, well, I'm delving into a bit of retro. You PlayStation listeners out there, currently knee-deep in The Last of Us Remastered. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5, so there's no load time. It's running at a nice crisp 60 frames a second, even though it's got some nice PS3 glitches with people walking through walls and stuff. But it's all good. Still don't want to piss off any clickers. Yeah, I know about the lingo. But yeah, I'm currently with... So I'm at the stage now where Joe has just fallen off some type of height, and he's
impaled himself. Yeah,
he's impaled. Yeah. So we just about made it onto a horse, and that's pretty much where I just saved the game.
Oh, so dude, we're gonna blitz this podcast because what happens next, is unbelievable. So we're gonna do this in under 40 minutes. I guarantee it. We're just gonna go speed, but I've got to get you on The Last of Us. You got to do it, man. It's so fucking good.
No, it's good. I'm really loving that game, and it's like, I can see why there's so much hype about the second one, and I cannot wait. Even though I haven't even finished this one yet, I can't wait for the anniversary edition, which we're hoping, even though nobody's actually announced it. But we're doing an exclusive fake announcement that there will be an anniversary edition of Last of Us 2 coming out more or less the same time that the Last of Us 2 came out last year, which was what, June? Was it June?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was June. Yeah. So anyway, so I can't wait to play Last of Us 2. But how about you, man? What you've been clicking away at?
So obviously every week it's usually the same dirt pair. So I thought, you know what, there's some good sales on. Let me buy some games. So I bought 3 games. I bought Life is Strange 2, which was only £10, which is no longer on promotion. I bought Layers of Fear 2. The original Layers of Fear is amazing. So I was looking forward to Layers of Fear 2, but waiting for it to go on sale. So I grabbed that. And I just finished In the Rays of Light. So In the Rays of Light. It's a Russian game. It's literally only 2 hours long, but I just wanted something to play, that looked a little bit pretty. So yeah, just finished that. Wasn't great, but played it anyway. It's all about like the aftermath of a nuclear war, in a way. So yeah, it was all right, but I thought, let's get it out the way. It's a short game, so I got that out the way, and now I'll obviously move on to nighttime playing of a horror game, which is Layers of Fear 2. So looking forward to that, but we'll talk about that next week when we get there. Shall we get into the news, Alex?
Let's get into the news. We've got some big topics to go through today.
We have. So I think we've got 6 pieces of news this week. So number 1. Let me take you to Polygon, where Owen S. Good wrote, so this is his article, Sony Interactive Entertainment will acquire the Evolution Championship Series, the fighting game tournament known as EVO, for almost 2 decades, through a partnership with another esports venture the company's announced on Thursday. Additionally, EVO will return from a year's absence with an online tournament this August called EVO Online. Fighting Games' premier championship event will now be owned and operated by a joint venture between Sony and RTS, which is an esports venture whose investors include the Endeavor Talent Agency. EVO co-founders Tony and Tom Cannon will remain closely involved as key advisors, according to last Thursday's statement from Sony. In a statement to the fighting games community posted to Twitter, the Canon said they needed an experienced, strategic partner who truly respects the spirit of the fighting game community. Sony's statement said that the Canons will ensure that EVO remains a one-of-a-kind, grassroots competitive platform for fighting game players and fans around the globe. None of the parties to the deal revealed the cost of the acquisition, and Sony and RTS are likewise silent on their stakes and ownership split. EVO Online this year will take place in August, the 6th and the 8th, and then 13th to the 15th as an open format tournament, offering free entries to players in North America, Latin America, Europe, and Asia. The tournament lineup features Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, and Guilty Gear Strive, which launches in June. Obviously, last year, EVO 2020 was scrubbed as an in-person event due to COVID-19, and organisers made plans to go forward with an online event spread over July 2020. That event then was cancelled, however, following allegations of sexual misconduct that ended with the Evolution Championship Series firing its chief executive, Joey Cuella. Alex, that came out of nowhere. The day after the PSVR 2 controllers, we have Sony buying EVO.
Well, yeah, it's a big move. It's a very big move. And I guess it's just Sony basically showing everybody that we are Sony big bollocks and we're going to make our name known in every single industry, on every platform. Didn't they recently acquire, was it Tootsie? What's the Japanese
Crunchyroll
animation? Crunchyroll. I was going to say Tootsie Roll. Yeah, Crunchyroll. I was thinking, what's a Tootsie Roll? Anyway, yeah, so they recently acquired those not too long ago. And this coming off the back of the PSVR 2 announcement, or the controller announcement, it's just showing that Sony is just continue just to keep in the mindshare of fans all over. You know, they're definitely looking to ramp up production for this year and make sure that they're at the forefront of everyone's mind. And no better place than EVO, what the world's biggest online tournament. Well, it's online now, but the biggest fighting tournament out there. And it kind of makes sense. You know, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you've probably heard Paul talk about it before, that the majority of players, you know, play on PlayStations, right? Most of these games are played on PlayStation. Street Fighter, whether it's Mortal Kombat, whether it's Guilty Gear Strive, you know, I mean, there are some cross-platform games, but the majority of it's going to be played on the PlayStation. So they just looked at the figures, or they must have looked at the figures and thought, yeah, well, the majority of the games being played on our console, why don't we just host it? Why don't we just take a massive share? And it makes sense. I mean, they've got the PlayStation 4, which is like, what, it's like 114 million at the moment. So they've got a massive market share. And, you know, next to Smash Brothers, you know, which is on the Nintendo, pretty much every other fighting game is going to be available on their system. So,
well, Sony, you know, that was one thing that a lot of people were saying, that, will Sony curb Smash Brothers? But a statement has come out from the Cannon brothers that said, no, Sony are supporting the fighting community and Smash Brothers will be there. The only reason it's not taking part in the online tournament is just the infrastructure required, like to the point where Tekken 7 is going to be done on PC, because of the connection issues that obviously different territories have with the PS4 and Tekken. So they need to make this online tournament as you know, fair as possible. So that's why they're going with PC. But again, you know, I saw a lot of people saying, like, I don't know why, but they're scared of the Bethesda deal that Microsoft have, and they're like, why are you spending money on this? It's not nothing. But you've got to understand that esports is getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. It's ridiculous how big it is. Like, professional football teams sign people to be a part of their esports teams. That's how big it's getting. And from a Sony standpoint, you know, if you're a fighter now, you are buying a PlayStation console. Because EVO, like, you know, if you say to me, there's a big League of Legends in an arena, I'm going to think Nerdfest. But EVO's cool,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. It's like the cool esport, and it's influenced it. That competition alone influenced purchases. And if you're fighting now, 99% of people are going to buy a PlayStation console because that's EVO, right? You know, and the numbers already high. Like majority of people play
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat on PlayStation, Tekken, Street
Yeah.
Fighter, all these games. So it's great that Sony are obviously sticking, because Smash Brothers is huge. So it's great that that's going to still be there in the future. And the best thing for fight fans is Sony will make sure that esports and Evo specifically is cleaner, bigger, and better going forward.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully they
And
push fucking Namco to make Tekken 8.
oh, yes, that'd be great. And it's like another platform for them to announce any of their future upcoming projects as well. But remember, Xbox also, they've got what Killer Instincts, which
Okay,
is a big
don't,
game on their system, and
bro,
that's an exclusive.
don't crack jokes. Okay, don't crack jokes. Real fighting
So
games.
hopefully, eventually this could be another move for them just to, need to push them out.
If I want to see
It's like, oh
animals,
yeah,
if I want to
we
see
will be
animals,
supporting the fighting community, and we're still in talks with Microsoft.
if I want to see animals fighting, I'd rather just watch Van Helsing than play Killer
Oh,
Instinct. But
Van Helsing,
what can I
Killer
say?
Instinct, to be honest, Killer Instinct hasn't been the same ever since it left Nintendo. I mean, when it was on the SNES, that game was awesome.
That's
Fans
it.
out there will attest to this. But yeah, it's money, right?
That's it. So we'll move on. This was obviously last week, but we had already recorded, but we did preview it. So as detailed a few weeks back on the show, Square Enix 40-minute digital live stream has come and gone, and here's everything that was announced in regards for PlayStation. So Life is Strange True Colors will launch on September 10th on both PS4 and PS5 and all other formats except the Switch. The sequel to 2019's Life is Strange 2, True Colors, will pull back from its predecessor's episodic format and release its full story on the same date, thank God. Life is Strange True Colors will star Erica Mori as Alex Chen, a young Asian American woman with psychic powers who moves to Colorado to discover the truth behind what happened to her brother Gabe. Sticking with Life is Strange, Don't Nod Entertainment's original graphic adventure 2015's Life is Strange will be remastered for new consoles, as will its 3-episode prequel 2017's Life is Strange Before the Storm by Deck 9. Both games will be included in an Ultimate Edition release for Life is Strange True Colors on September 10th and a standalone purchase later this year. So, I mean, I played the original Life is Strange. I'm not bothered about the remaster. I played Before the Storm. It's just a cool little game. I'm looking forward to playing too. It's a bit hokey, a bit teeny, a bit silly, but I think it was just at the time I wanted something different. Played it, enjoyed it. It was a good game.
Yeah.
Played the DLC. I'm obviously, just as I mentioned at the top of the show, I've bought Life is Strange 2, so we'll go in there. But looks cool. Have you ever seen Life is Strange or played it?
I may have played it at yours one time. I mean, is that is it like a linear path that you follow? I mean, is it just point and click? What's the type of game
No,
is
so
it?
it's basically you move around. It is linear, but your decisions and everything will cause butterfly effects in the story and across the game and characters and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I think the problem with it was, again, the technology at the time. It was on PS3 and then PS4, and it was just really slow and things like that. So obviously it was just a bit, and then the loading times were a bitch as normal. So we'll see what happens. I know, exactly. So we'll move on to the next one from Square. First announced at PlayStation's June 2020 event, the all-new IP from Luminous Productions, originally called Project Athia, now has a title, which is Forspoken. The action-adventure stars Ella Balinska as the protagonist Frey Holland, facing off against dragons and other colossal beasts in an untamed land. Forspoken will be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive when it launches in 2022. It will also come to Windows PC. Bro, this game looked insane. Just the speed she was moving at, I was just like, oh shit.
That Ella Balinska, I'm sure she was in that crap version of Charlie's Angels that came out. Like the recent one.
Never watched it, mate.
Like, that's it. I didn't watch it either. I mean, I saw the trailer, but yeah, I think she was
probably
in there.
Was. But the game looks beautiful, doesn't it?
The game was. Now, does this game? Well, I don't know if it calls back to you, but for me, it reminds me of that Unreal Engine 5 demo.
I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just looked so similar. But obviously, it's not going to be the same tech because, Square use their own engine, right?
Mm.
But it just seems very similar. But yeah, it looks good. It looks like it's going to be a great open world game. Just full of colors, full of life, full of energy, and like I like the concept as well. And the fact is that they're actually taking their time with it as well makes it could be a potentially a new franchise
Mm.
that they could go forward with because everybody knows that Final Fantasy, yeah, it's great, but we need something else from Square. We need something else.
Mm.
But
And it does look very Final Fantasy as well, like Final Fantasy 15 specifically. But I was looking at the visuals and the movement. I was like, wow, that looks silky smooth. It'll
it
be an
looks like
interesting game
freedom,
to play.
yeah, pure freedom.
Moving on. So the next up was an update for People Can Fly's third-person loot shooter Outriders, which is launching April 1st on everything, again except Switch, but it'll be on PS4 and PS5, and will be available for the latter two consoles via Xbox Game Pass on the same day. So Xbox One and Xbox Series X will have it on Game Pass. Outriders got two trailers during Square Enix Presents, one detailing its story campaign, loot and role-playing systems called Outriders 101, and a CGI story trailer called Appreciate Power. Now, before we move on, one of our questions at the end, I'm going to bring it up early, and that is Lee from Scotland. He asks, hello, Sunny and Alex. Your thoughts on Outriders going to Game Pass for free on launch? Will this hurt the PS version of the game? It's really interesting.
Yeah,
Now, I know why. Speaking to people who are close to the project, it just wasn't. Even though the demo came out, over 2 million people played the demo. They were very happy with the numbers and things like that. The pre-orders were shocking on the
yeah,
Xbox side of things. So, Microsoft came, offered, great chance. You're thinking, right, we ain't going to make this money on Xbox. Let's take the Game Pass deal. But I think, tell me what you think about this, Alex. I think it's a strategic move by Xbox to
mhm,
see if releasing a game on Game Pass has an
yeah,
effect on PlayStation sales. Because obviously this is something that will happen with Bethesda games. The
yeah,
the games that
yeah,
have PlayStation legacy will still be on the PlayStation console. But I think Microsoft want to see if a game is free on launch on Game Pass, does it affect the $60 or $70 game on PlayStation? So I think they're going to look at that
yeah. They
really
will, and
carefully.
that's a great call. A very strategic move, and I think yeah, it will definitely affect the sales for sure. But I guess Sony's kind of chilling anyway because they know they've got the market share. You know what I mean? They've got the
Mm,
mind share, and a lot of factors are actually in their favor. And Xbox actually need items like this in order to kind of push sales and try and increase the focus towards their brand. So yeah. All the best to them, but realistically, I don't really think it's going to affect the sales, or especially the lifetime sales on the PlayStation console too much. So,
mm.
yeah, it's a good move.
I
It's a
think
good
that
move.
I think the smart move as well is with it going to Game Pass. I think the perk is the community will be there, the player base will be there because there are millions of people on Game Pass, and they'll have a new big AAA game in Outriders to play. So obviously a lot of player
Yeah,
count will be on the Xbox side, so the game should thrive.
yeah,
But it's going to have eyes on it at launch now all of a sudden because everybody's going to want to see the business numbers and the player count. Does it work? Does that
yeah,
business model sustain? Or in Microsoft are hoping, does it adverse PlayStation gamers to go out and get Game Pass, on
yeah,
PC or buy an Xbox to get Game Pass? So they're
yeah,
going to be watching. There's a lot of like moving parts on this deal, which will be really interesting. But
yeah,
I don't think Sony. I think they're pissed about it as well because it looked like they had such a strong relationship with Square Enix. With Final Fantasy VII remake exclusivity, Final Fantasy 16, Project Acid, Forsaken, is that what it's called? Yeah,
yeah.
Forspoken, sorry.
Forspoken.
And all these games. So you're thinking, yes, Sony and Square are getting in bed, and then all of a sudden this happened. But I'm pretty sure Sony will take the Final Fantasy exclusivity for a year over Outriders. So
Yeah,
I don't think they're
this is
complaining
it.
too much.
Let the games begin, literally.
Mm.
Be interesting to
Uh,
see.
Balan Wonderland, which is your sort of game, it's a platformer, received a launch trailer which detailed more characters and outfits. The 3D platformer coming from director Yuji Naka and artist Nawata Hoishima harkens back to the two works from Sega in the early 1990s. The game launches on March 26th, and a demo is currently available on the PlayStation Store. I downloaded the demo, played it for 2 minutes, turned it off. I was like, it's too hokey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah, as listeners know, I'm definitely a platformer, but this game is just, I don't know
It's
what they're
proper
trying to
Japanese
this
over the
game
top
to.
crazy, isn't it? You
I don't
know.
know that. I just the quality of the game doesn't seem perfect. Especially from a AAA company like Square. I'm thinking, who do they give this to? It just seems like they gave it to like an indie developer within the company, just to try their hand at it because it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? At all. It's got all the bells and whistles that you'd expect from a traditional platformer. It's got all the colors, it's got the things that you need to collect. But the fluidity of it all, it really does look like it could have been created on something like Dreams. In fact, if it was created on Dreams, it probably looked better. To be honest, so I don't know what they're doing there. So Square, come on, fix up.
Mhm. Two more. So, a Tomb Raider Definitive Survival Trilogy was announced, comprising of Tomb Raider from 2013, which was obviously the restart for the franchise, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was 2015, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was 2018. It's available now on the PlayStation Store and the Microsoft Store. If you buy it now, it's only 19.99, but it will go up to $50
Mm.
next week. So if you haven't played any of the Tomb Raider games, grab it. Sorry, my phone keeps going off in the background. It's a Metal Gear tone, so it's fine. But yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
deal at that price point. I wouldn't buy it at 50. So if you haven't played it, it's definitely worth it. They're really good games, great
whole
platformers.
collection.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then the final bit of news, which is by far, obviously, I think the biggest in terms of just overall scope. Both Wakanda and its king, T'Challa, will join Crystal Dynamics superhero adventure later this year in the War for Wakanda expansion for Marvel Avengers.
Yeah.
And it was announced with a teaser trailer. Black Panther will face off against his nemesis, the Vibranium Plunderer Claw, in the story
Wow.
expansion. Now, you know what? Don't give a shit about Avengers, but like, I'm just thinking in my head, I'm gonna wait when all these DLC packs start mounting up, then I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be kind of
Yeah.
interesting to play. Pick up, do it, put it down. It's one of them where you're just kind of waiting for the content. It's a great listen, by the way, listeners. Our special interview we did with elite Destiny player Nico Di Maria, and we speak about this really, about the Avengers style with content drops compared to Destiny and the issues we have with it, which is the issues I have. But I've been hearing really positive feedback about the Avengers after the PS5 update, about the load time, which took minutes on PS4, takes seconds on PS5.
Nice.
The visuals are stunning, the sound is stunning. I was like, okay, okay. I don't need loads of people to play the game because obviously you only need people around you. So I can, like, when they you can get your brother and friends and stuff, like, okay, let's just do Avengers,
Yeah.
organize a schedule to play it and get it done. But I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Do you think, obviously they had the Hawkeye expansion and they've announced Black Panther as well. Obviously we'll get into some delays they've got on the game later, but does this do
Yeah.
anything for you now with Avengers? Are you looking at it a bit more?
No, no, no. I don't really care really. I really don't. I think this game was pretty much not dead out of the gate, but like we said, we'll go into the issues that they've had from the beginning. But it just seems like it's just the model what a lot of companies are trying to do now, which is let's just try and make as much money as possible with a massive MMO.
Like a persistent online
Games
shooter,
as a
isn't it?
service. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it shows. It shows with the quality and the attention to detail, and just the general lore of it. You know when a developer's being genuine with everything that they're creating, and right now it just seems a bit wish-washy. You know what I mean? And I just hope that they don't fall into the same trap as EA. With Star Wars Battlefront 2,
And
when it just, they kind of went down that model, and it
mm,
just, I don't know, it just didn't seem like it was they could have made it into a really awesome game, but they just went left and they decided to let's go for the money making route.
mm,
Obviously you've got companies out there like Epic, which is smash it at the moment, you know what I mean? So
mm,
let's just Fortnite, sorry. So yeah, and everybody's kind of trying to jump onto that bandwagon to just make as much money as possible, but it's just affecting the quality of the games. And I think this game right now, to me, it looks like it's a victim to it. But I do hope that it does get better. But hello, time. Who knows what will happen in time?
mm. Interesting indeed. So we'll move on to number three. This is more of a business side of things, but listeners, we talk games, but we also love talking business behind the scenes at Sony, numbers, sales, but this is strictly business. Number three, Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE, has restructured its management team with several key appointments. They include a number of changes to its engineering leadership team. Now, this is important because engineering are the guys that do the hardware. So PS5, PSVR2, PSVR2, it's all about the engineering department. So they include a number of changes to its engineering leadership team ahead of the imminent departure of SIE Deputy President John Cordera, a departure we detailed about on this show 3 weeks ago. Cordera, who previously led the teams who developed the infrastructure for PlayStation Network, is taking on a new role which will include leading digital transformation for all of Sony. That's everything, movie, music, everything. Hideyoko Nishino, who joined SI in 2000 and is credited with playing a key role in many of the innovations in PS4 and PS5 product development, has been promoted to SVP Platform Experience as Senior Vice President. Reporting directly to SIE CEO Jim Ryan, San Mateo, California-based Nishino will oversee network engineering and operations, R&D, design, data strategy, and operations in addition to managing product and platform development. That's just, probably one of the most, if not the most important role at Sony, right? Not the CEO, but the guy who runs R&D and design. He's got the most important job, right? Michael Pattison, currently Vice President of Global Third-Party Relations, will report to Nishino in his new role as Senior Vice President, Platform Planning and Management. During almost 8 years with the company, London-based Pattison is credited with being a key figure in building SIE's portfolio of PS4 and PS5 business partnerships, and is said to be a leading advocate for the indie development community. More changes have taken place across other departments within Sony, but nothing a bit more further behind the scenes like financial, which we don't care about. But Alex, big changes in key positions for Sony, but it's good to see that Sony, it just shows you how well that PlayStation department has done. The fact that people who are in charge of higher positions for just the PlayStation side of things are now running like music, anime, movies, electronics, everything across Sony as brand as a whole, So the more PlayStation that spreads across Sony, the better, right?
Yeah, it is. And I guess it's just them just making sure that they're running a lot more efficiently, especially with that, was it Hideki Nishino? Was he responsible for, the the transference or the backwards compatibility of the how many games, 4,000 plus games that they've got currently planned, which are going to be transferring over to the PlayStation 5. So,
and he was a big figure in the DualSense controller.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There you go. You know what I mean? He is. Yeah, he's the main man. So yeah, it's good to see that they're just like tidying up. You know what I mean? Cutting out the fat and making sure that they're going to be, standing steady and with a decent foundation for this generation. Because it seems like they're going to become like a key player in not just in the industry, but just across industries. Like we talked about Crunchyroll. With them acquisition of that, and now EVO. I mean, who knows what's next for Sony? So it's good to see.
I hope it's Capcom. I really want them to buy Capcom. I just want Sony to be like, we got some fuck you money, so we're just gonna buy Capcom. But
that would make sense. Why not, right?
Do you know what though? I don't think now's a good time because Monster Hunter Rise is gonna hit the Switch. It's gonna sell record numbers. If Nintendo was smart, they would have given an open checkbook to Capcom and said, we want to release a Monster Hunter Switch, but we don't want limited. We want to make about 20 million of these because we'll fucking sell them all in a week. Because they would sell 20 million Monster Hunter Switches in a week. And I would look at you and think, okay, they're going to beat the PlayStation 4, right? That's what I would admit it straight off the bat, right there and then.
That's going to happen.
That's like 2-3 years away yet, bro, when another Switch has to come out to do it,
By the end of this year.
It's crazy, but I think Sony are smart with what they're doing, they buy third-party partnerships. They don't need, because again, we'll talk about, I think it's a great episode next week to actually really delve into Sony's first party versus Microsoft's first party. I think we should do that next week, right? A proper detailed look into it in the latest PSX. Yeah, exactly, and give our opinions. So that will be the Patreon exclusive show next week. So if you're not a Patreon listener, sign up. Great access to loads of content, early access, plus next week's big show where we go talk first party versus first party. But Yeah, great moves, and it's always good to have fresh ideas, in there. And that's not me making it. My chair is squeaking like absolutely crazy. I don't know what's it's gonna. If I break and fall, right, just fell off the chair, gave way. But
Yeah, get some
you know,
WD-40 on that, mate.
I know.
Yeah, good.
So number
Good move.
4, and this is like a dagger to my heart. Uh, so Sony will reportedly close the PS3, PlayStation Vita, and PSP stores permanently this summer. Citing an unnamed source, the Gamer claims Sony will shut down the PS3 and PSP online marketplaces on July 2nd, followed by the PS Vita store on August 27th. After the closures, players will no longer be able to buy digital games or DLC for the 3 platforms. Sony is reportedly planning to announce the plans this month. This pisses me off, Alex. It's like
Yeah.
Sony have one of the greatest legacies in the video game industry in terms of quantity of games. PS1,
Yep.
PS2, PS3, PS4, PSP, PS3, and they just don't give a. I just comment like they don't give a fuck.
They
And
do give a, you know what they give a fuck about? They give a fuck about money. And they know by closing down these stores, that would just encourage more people who are still holding onto their old school consoles to move up and upgrade. You know what I mean?
I tell you something. I tell you what's funny, right? There was a interview with. It was during a Gran Turismo esport event with Jim Ryan, and to celebrate obviously the event, they had all of the other Gran Turismo set up so people could play with all of them. And
Yeah.
somebody asked him, an interviewer asked him, why is Gran Turismo, the older libraries, not playable on the
Mhm.
current machines? And he said,
Yeah.
look at it. Why would you want to play it when you can play Gran Turismo Sport? And I'm like, that's not the mentality you want to have, mate. We want the
It
legacy
isn't.
games. I think it's
It
more
isn't.
annoying that Microsoft are trying so hard they need to get those
Yeah.
legacies on to pad out, the lack of what they currently have. But I still just think like you've got PlayStation now, you know how to do it. You've got a great engineering department. Fucking use it and get these games on PlayStation now. But it's just like Sony are like, yeah, we'll just get around
Emulate
to,
them.
you
Yeah, just
know.
emulate them. Buy out an emulator because there's plenty of them out there,
Mm.
and then just make it a staple, for the PlayStation, well, for PlayStation. And that's it. So you can actually just
But
access
it's
all
weird
the
though
legacy.
because Sony have said it, like Jim Ryan has said it, that they see PlayStation as quality over quantity, and they look at it as like the ultimate experience, the James Cameron experience in a cinema and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that if they do announce this stuff, because the PS Vita, as I said to you, it still sells, even though they've stopped supporting it, and people still release games on it, and they still sell because people love that handheld. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But we'll see what Sony does on that. It's absolutely devastating for me.
But it's also a case of, the argument between digital and physical, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
these are one of the risks out there now, isn't it?
But they've got,
They're one
yeah,
of the
they
risks.
probably see the numbers, don't they? And but
Yeah.
they're just probably thinking like, well, we see the numbers. Let's put all focus on PlayStation 5. Let's put all focus on other things. So we'll see what happens. But they're consolidating a lot of stuff, movies and
Yeah.
programs that we spoke about the other week. Now this, so they better come up with something big for PlayStation now.
Yeah, but I think, especially for you listeners out there, now's the time to go grab some of these games if you can find them.
Mhm.
The physical copies, definitely, because obviously once that show steps down, and obviously they're going to be seeing some production, those values for the games are going to start creeping up. Give it some time. That's a great stock to invest in now. Little tip
Definitely.
there.
There you go. Number 5, the developer of Marvel's Avengers has confirmed that PlayStation's exclusive Spider-Man content won't release until later this year, which represents a delay from its original scheduling. At the time of its announcement in August 2020, that's the wife's room sprayer, by the way. You probably hear that every week. It scares the
Thinking that
shit out of
one,
me,
huh?
man. At the time of its announcement in August 2020, the playable Spider-Man character was due to be added to the Marvel Avengers roster in early 2021. A delay was always likely after Marvel Avengers Trouble launch resulted in the release of the game's first 2 new characters being pushed back, along with the launch of the PS5 and Xbox Series XS versions of the title. However, it was only officially confirmed this week when Crystal Dynamics released its Marvel Avengers 2021 content roadmap, which includes no mention of Spider-Man at all. The content roadmap is arguably headlined by a newly announced Black Panther expansion coming to all players during summer and beyond, and Crystal Dynamics told IGN there's no chance that Spider-Man will arrive before then. Not much to say about this. We spoke about it ages ago, weeks ago. We
Earlier.
pre-told that Sony weren't happy with the way Avengers was running, so they're going to hold off on Spider-Man. Have you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll be pissed off if I was if I bought Marvel's Avengers. Just to echo what we said about earlier on with Square. Again, why didn't they just tell fans that this was going to be the case? You know, obviously they divided the whole customer base between Xbox and PlayStation. You know, because everybody thought they were going to get Spider-Man as an exclusive, and now we're looking at what 2022 before Spider-Man will be swinging onto the console. You know, so I mean it's a cheap move. You know, a really cheap move. And again, it goes down to the honesty in these developers, man. But anyway, we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully, when Spider-Man does finally land on the system, it's phenomenal and everybody loves it. You know, so if not, it could be a potential cyberpunk.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
on there. Okay. We're at another number 6. Another superhero title takes a fall as Warner Brothers Interactive's Batman game Gotham Knights is the latest major title to be delayed into 2022. In a statement published on social media, the company said it was giving the game more time to deliver the best possible experience for players. It was previously scheduled for release sometime this year. This is what they said. Thank you to our amazing fans for your tremendous support of Gotham Knights. Warner's statement continues. We look forward to showcasing more of the game in the coming months.
Nice.
This joins several other big budget titles that have slipped in recent weeks as disruption caused by the coronavirus starts to take its toll on production schedules. Last month, Bungie delayed Destiny's next expansion into next year. Lord of the Rings Gollum, Gran Turismo 7, and Hogwarts Legacy have also had their dates slip during the first few months of the year. I could see this from a mile away. It's annoying, but I want a good Gotham game, you know what I mean? So take your time.
Oh, gosh. God damn this coronavirus. Yeah, it is just screwing up the industry. But then again, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one side, you've got like delays, on the other side, you've got like phenomenal sales going out the windows because everyone's stuck at home. But yeah, it's just a shame that it's rippling you know, across the industry as, you know, and such big games, key games that we're all looking forward to are just going to we have to wait a bit longer for. But hopefully, you know, there's the games which are being worked on, or games which are being finalized right now, ready to go gold. We'll be able to enjoy those in no time. So here's to Last of Us 2 remastered coming out, because that's going to be another game that I'm looking forward to. You know what they should do? They should just release like the whole. Are they going to release like the whole Arkham series? You know, they're just going to update them. And
they haven't updated them, but there is collections available.
Yeah.
You know, so
Okay.
yeah, you
That'd
can.
be good for the time being. You know, they just threw out there, just upgraded it, upgraded textures, frame rate, you know, the PS5 treatment. That'd be nice. That'd just keep fans happy for a little bit. And obviously, it'd be even greater if they actually did like an update to the PSVR game that they did Batman. That was a brilliant VR game, brilliant experience. So they should be focusing on those little things. I mean, that should be easy enough to do, right?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You say that, but we never know, right? We'll see what happens on that one. So that's all the news, Alex. We'll move on to the PSN Sale update, which is really popular because people just love hearing about it. You know, we get a lot of people on Twitter saying, I got this game. Thanks for letting us know, which is great. But bit different this week, Alex, because every week since the beginning of 2021, there has been a new sale promotion every week on the PlayStation Store. But just like Nintendo's bad run of home console sales, all things must come to an end.
What?
This week, Sony removed the prequels and sequels price promotion without adding something new to it.
Oh.
So at the moment, games under £20 is still available, as is the Mega March promotion. They're both still active. Watch Dogs Legion is the deal of the week this week, and you can save up to 50% off on that game. And finally, if you don't have it yet, Ratchet & Clank is free for every PlayStation owner via the Play at Home initiative. But Alex, I want to highlight something to you. Did you know that if you have PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation Plus account, you have access to 30 plus games for free?
Really? How?
So you have the PlayStation Plus collection.
Yeah.
You have all the PlayStation Plus monthly games, which is Final Fantasy VII Remake, Maquette, the other two, and then you've also got Destruction All-Stars in there. You currently have Ratchet & Clank as well, and then you're getting all the new Play-at-Home initiative games in the next few days. So if you count all those, Sony are giving you over 30 games for free. Listeners are probably thinking, oh shit, never realised that. But all you've got to do, listeners, is go to PlayStation Plus Collection, add them all to your library, because we don't know how long that's going to last, every month on PlayStation Plus, just add to your library. And when the Play at Home initiative comes, again, add to your library. You then own those games forever while your PlayStation Plus account is active. But the Play at Home initiative games are absolutely free for everybody. But it's crazy though, 30 games for free.
That is really good. Where is the Play at Home initiative? I mean, like, so hold on, when's it being released? It's coming out when?
So Ratchet is available now, so it
Yeah.
should be on the home screen somewhere when you hit the PlayStation Store. If not, you can just search Ratchet and then it will come up and it will say free.
Yeah.
And then obviously the update is that's probably why they haven't put a new price promotion on. They're probably thinking you fuckers are getting 10 free games this week. You can wait. And then obviously the other ones will pop up.
Release in time. Yeah, brilliant.
Excellent. Okay, so we go to the letters. We usually have 2 to end the show, or more depending on how time is running. But Lee, we already answered your question, which was Outriders. So we got Devin Mason on Twitter tweeted in, and he wrote, "At Latest PS5, I love the podcast. Listen all the time while I'm at work." Thank you very much, Devin. We're happy we do that for you. What do you guys think about the upcoming game Returnal? I'm excited about that. I feel like we spoke about Returnal so much, but obviously they've released gameplay. They've talked more about the story mode and the first-person mode that's playable in the house. How are you feeling? Because this game is on your radar, isn't it?
It is. It is definitely one of the standout games from last year's PS5 showcase. That again with Project Athia. But yes, Returnal looks freaking amazing. Every single time they release more content, it just looks more and more enthralling. So the answer to your question is simply, I can't fucking wait because it seems like a truly designed game for the PlayStation 5 experience, and I just can't wait to see exactly what Housemarque can offer us. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, excellent. Devin, same thing. I was going to move on then. I thought, wait, I've got to talk yet about Returnal really quick. I'm excited for it, but I don't want to pay £70 for it. Just because it's... No, I know that I need to play it to see what it's like. Like, I don't want to pay £70 because the one thing I know about Housemarque games is they're designed to be replayed over and over and over again. So I don't...
£70 still.
I know, but I don't want to pay...
$70.
Exactly. I'll wait.
Anything is too much.
I'll wait until somebody's selling it on Facebook for like 20 quid because they don't know what they have. It drops down on a price promotion. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to play it. I'm really excited. But Devin, it's a great thing to think about that game. And everybody's talking about the speed. Everybody's talking about the load times, the visuals. For me, I can't wait to hear the fucking audio. Because if there's a game that's going to showcase 3D audio with all the bullets flying around and weapons, and I can't wait to see what that game sounds like, or to hear what that game sounds like. So,
all right, get this, just imagine this. I know we didn't really.
My eyes are closed. Listeners, close your eyes. Alex is going to serenade us now.
We didn't delve too much on the PSVR 2 today because we did the episode. So, guys, listeners, go out there and listen to that because it's a lot of fun. But think about this. Yeah, we're talking about the controllers. We said the controllers, they look like the Sony Ericsson logo, or there's all these various memes out there. Fongs. Some people have said it actually looks like fongs, plastic fongs. But anyway, we're not going into that. My point is the actual headset. Because we haven't seen the headset yet, and hopefully they should be announcing that soon, right before 2022. Hopefully, because the way they release the controllers, they must have the headset.
I think they'll announce it when they know it's ready to go out to devs because they know it'll leak. So they'll just be like, okay, we're ready to announce.
Yeah. All right, well, think about this. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're thinking that it's going to be a lot better than the previous edition. Yeah, it's going to be a lot smaller. Hopefully, there's only going to be one cable coming out as opposed to the octopus-like cables which are currently out of the ones at the moment. But imagine the new features that they can have. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be smaller. We hope it's going to be more lightweight. Hopefully it can be a lot more sweat resistant for people like myself. Playing super hot. But then there's also the new features. That we could expect to see. And one of the ones which I didn't even think about until the other day was haptic feedback on the actual headset. Feeling rain, feeling snow, feeling...
You get KO'd if you're playing Returnal in that. The shit hitting you in Returnal with bullets coming at you and ammo and gunfire coming at you everywhere. That game will knock you out with haptic feedback in your head.
It would. Hopefully you can dial it down a bit like they do in Ready Player One, but I think, yes... this is going to be another game which I hope that they kind of do that, the PSVR version to it. And I think this is going to open the doors to a lot of games, isn't it? Hopefully. I mean, we could see Resident Evil 8 potentially come out with a VR version. I mean, I don't know if that's been rumored yet, but hopefully they do. So yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
just like,
waiting to play that game in VR. I just want to play that game, man. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm not waiting. But yeah, it'll be interesting, and I can't wait for them to talk or release more information about it, because if you go
yeah,
back to last week's episode
yeah,
42, where we talk about the PSVR 2 controllers, you will be able to just hear two
yeah,
gamers, which is me and Alex, just how excited we are about we get so excited about new tech, especially when it comes to VR as well, and we just sound like kids.
and right.
You know what I mean? We just sound like kids, man. We can't wait. But Alex, something
Cool.
different this week. So, listeners, we did something at the end of our interview with Nico, which was word association, and it was just I said something to Nico that was Destiny related. He has to quickly come out with the first word that comes to his mind when he hears that. So, for example, I said Activision. I can't remember what he said, but it was interesting. So I wanted to bring that to our weekly show, Alex. Sometimes we can do 10-second games. Sometimes we can do word association. So I have word association for you.
Let's
Well, this is
go.
actually not from me. This is from Tweety247 on Twitter.
Oh, nice.
Are you
Hey,
ready?
Tweety.
So the way this is going to work is I'm going to name 8 things, and you just got to
Okay.
say the first word that pops into your head about that
Oh,
product.
nice.
So if I say Tekken, you say I struggle at that game, or something like that, because you do. I forgot to mention, you didn't mention Tekken as one of
Are
your
you talking in
hardest
the third
games
person?
because you play
Wait,
me. Then
you're
it
talking in the
becomes
third
the hardest
person.
game you've ever played, doesn't it? So when Patreons, if you go over, sign up, and you listen to the hardest games we played, Alex realistically wants to say Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, Tekken 7. I'll give him Dark Resurrection, but yeah,
You
he
wish.
just didn't want to say that. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
So I've got 8, and do you want to know
Okay.
why I picked 8?
No, why? Why did you pick eight?
PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, PSP, PS Vita, Pocket Station from
Oh,
back in
okay,
the day.
okay.
So I thought 8 hardware, let's do it. You know what I mean?
It's hard, but yeah, nice. Okay,
Okay,
go
so
for it.
Mega Drive,
Classic.
Batman VR,
Enthralling.
Luigi,
Is his brother in it?
Wii U,
An investor's nightmare.
EA,
What happened to you, mate?
DualSense,
One of the best inventions ever.
Feng Wei,
He would kick your ass all
yeah!
day, no problem.
PS1, and the last one, PS1.
Yeah, classic. I mean, sorry, that's my heart. That's my heart. There it is.
Nice, nice. So, listeners, if you have word association or 10-second game, you can do either one. Send, if you got them for me, send them to the latest PS5 at gmail.com. That way, Alex will see it and then he can ask me them. And if you have word association or 10-second games for Alex, just tweet them at latest PS5. Or on Twitter, you can DM the message and then send it to us so we can see it. And then, 8. So we want
Cool.
8
Eight.
word
Yeah.
associations, okay? So just a
Thank
little
you.
bit of fun, because eventually one of us are going to say something we don't mean. You know what I mean?
I think I might have said that already. Oh shit! But which one, listeners? Which one is it?
I'm trying to think. What did you say? It wasn't EA. You said, what did you say? DualSense, you said, like, PS1, you said
Yeah,
Heart. Wii
yeah.
U, Investor's Nightmare,
Yeah, yeah,
Luigi.
yeah, yeah.
Luigi caught you out. You didn't expect it because he did
I did it,
Tweety.
man. I was like, come on, man.
Tweety didn't even stay PlayStation centric. He went Mega Drive, VR,
Right. Yeah, no, I
PlayStation.
liked it. I liked it. I like it. Yeah, man. So listen, yeah, come on, just try and stump this, man. We're looking forward to this stuff.
Excellent.
But yeah, man, that was quite fun. So that's another game for us. Any more ideas, listeners? Let us know in the comments. DM us, email us. We're looking forward to it.
Yep, and listeners, thank you very much for listening again. If you want early access to these episodes every week, because we record on a Wednesday and they go live, head over to patreon.com/latest PS5. help support the show and get loads of content early, exclusively on Patreon for you guys. So you get to hear us talk more about PlayStation. Next week's show is going to be great on the latest PSX because we're going to talk Microsoft's first party versus Sony's first party. And we're going to compare them, not really verse them, but comparing them and what we think will happen going forward for that generation. So yeah, head over to patreon.com for that. Patreon producers listening, thank you very much for your support so far. Alex, I had the final word on the interview, which pissed Nico off, but it was hilarious. You have the final word on episode 43. What say you?
Oh, well, it's a quote from one of my favorite films. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill, like Sonny when he's trying to verse me in Tekken.